Hi ladies, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Beany. I'm a certified trauma-informed coach, and I help women heal from domestic and narcissistic abuse and finally start to live the lives that they actually want to wake up to. Today's topic is a big one, and honestly, it's one of the most misunderstood parts of abuse recovery. And we're going to break down what's actually happening in your brain during trauma and why so many trauma bonds feel so incredibly powerful and hard to break. And let me say this right up front. This isn't about me giving you like a neuroscience lecture, right? This is about helping you understand deeply that what you've gone through is not just a breakup. It's not that you're weak. It's not that you're broken. There's real biological stuff happening inside of you that explains why it feels impossible to walk away, even when you know you should. I'm going to share how it works. I'm going to share what happened to me, and most importantly, how you can start to take your power back and your brain back. Okay, so one of the most common things I hear from my clients, and honestly, one of the things that I asked myself for years is, I don't understand why I keep taking him back. Like, oh, I know this is not good for me. And if you've ever said that or you thought that, I want you to take a deep breath right now, because that confusion, that shame, it's not a reflection of your strength. It's chemistry, it's trauma, it's survival wiring. And once you start understanding what's happening in your body and your brain, you can finally stop beating yourself up and start creating a real plan to heal and rewire. So let's start with the chemical that kind of drives this whole thing, dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter behind all forms of addiction, from cocaine to gambling to social media, and yes, even to toxic relationships. So when you fall in love, dopamine is released in the reward center of your brain. That's the part of why those first few weeks and months feel so euphoric. You're literally on a love high. Now, here's where it gets dangerous. When that same person who once made you feel safe and cherished now rejects you and hurts you or pulls away, your brain starts craving that dopamine hit again, just like a drug. And when they give you crumbs, maybe a text or an apology or a kiss on the forehead after screaming in your face, boom, dopamine fires again. That's why you feel hooked. It's not weakness. It's a biochemical cycle. It's why we say trauma bonding is so addictive, because it literally is. I'll never forget one night in my own relationship, after multiple incidences, he looked at me with tears in his eyes and he said, "I only act like this because I love you so much." And in that moment, even though I knew it was manipulation, my body flooded with relief. I felt safe again, even though I wasn't. That's dopamine. That's addiction. It's not just abuse. It's the mix of intense bonding followed by intense betrayal that hijacks your brain and gets you hooked. And it doesn't stop there. When the relationship is chaotic, your brain also starts to ruminate, replaying memories, obsessively analyzing conversations, fantasizing about the good times. That rumination also triggers dopamine, which builds more reward pathways, telling your brain, do it again. And dopamine, it isn't just about pleasure. It's about survival. It's your brain's way of saying, pay attention to this. This matters. The more powerful the experience, even if that experience is painful, the louder the message to repeat the behavior. That's why so many survivors describe their toxic ex as feeling like a drug, because that's exactly what's happening. If you haven't watched my video, 5 Signs You're Trauma Bonded and don't even know it, go check that out after this one, because I break down the subtle ways this chemical cycle show up in your daily life. Now, knowing dopamine is part of the story is powerful, but another piece you need to understand is something called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when two conflicting truths live in your brain at the same time. He loves me. He hurts me. He's my soulmate. He's destroying me. Your brain hates this kind of conflict, so it scrambles to resolve it. And usually instead of accepting the painful truth, it clings to the illusion. It rewrites the story to make the abuse make sense, because believing you're in danger from someone you love is too overwhelming. This is why you might find yourself minimizing or rationalizing or even blaming yourself. This isn't abuse, or he's just stressed. If I try harder, things will go back to how they used to be. Sound familiar? Okay, the next chemical at play here is cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. This is the one responsible for the fight, flight, or freeze response. In an abusive relationship, your cortisol levels are constantly elevated. Every insult, every slammed door, every unpredictable mood swing, your body responds as if your life is in danger. And when you don't have a safe outlet to release that cortisol, like running away from the threat, that stress stays trapped in your body. Over time, this leads to chronic anxiety and panic attacks and sleep issues and immune system, issues, problems, and in my case, even disease. And it keeps you stuck in survival mode. And here's the worst part. When you're stuck in survival mode, your critical thinking and decision-making abilities are severely compromised, which leads us to the next part of the puzzle. Okay, I'm not a neuroscientist or a doctor. I was a first grade teacher before I became a coach. So I like to explain things in simple terms. And these are the simple terms that helped me to understand it. Your brain has three main parts we'll talk about. Okay, the reptilian brain, which controls basic survival, heart rate, breathing, balance. You also have the limbic system, the emotional brain. This is memory, behavior, and feelings. And then you have the neocortex, the rational brain, the logic and decision-making and planning part of your brain. In a healthy state, these three parts communicate smoothly. Logic works with emotion and you make balanced decisions. But in trauma, that connection gets disrupted. When something traumatic happens, your emotional brain takes over. It hijacks the system and floods your body with signals to survive. Meanwhile, your rational brain, the part that could say, this is abuse, I need to leave, it gets suppressed or even shut down. So you're not choosing to stay from a place of logic. Your brain literally can't process the situation fully. So the rational part and the emotional part stop communicating effectively. And until you begin healing, they can't reconnect. So that's why things like validation and support and education are essential in your recovery. It's not just about willpower. It's about helping your brain rebuild those internal bridges again. And if the abuse keeps happening, your brain doesn't have a chance to heal. Trauma accumulates. It compounds. It doesn't resolve itself just because time passes. And here's the good news. This can be reversed. Your brain can be rewired. The hyperactive parts can calm down. The suppressed parts can wake back up. The communication lines can reconnect. But, and I can't stress this enough, it doesn't happen by accident. Time alone doesn't heal trauma. You have to be intentional. That means doing all the things that support your healing. Learning about what's happening inside of you, like you're doing right now. Seeking validation and support. Practicing physical movement to burn off that cortisol. Mindfulness and meditations, laughter and joy and gratitude, building a safe social connection. And here's the big one, radical acceptance. Acceptance means coming to terms with what the relationship was, what it is, and what it never was. Because if you don't, the trauma doesn't disappear. It just goes dormant until someone or something triggers it again. I had to face this myself. I had to stop chasing the fantasy version of the man I thought I had and see the reality of who he actually was. And let me tell you, that acceptance was the most painful and the most freeing part of my healing journey. If you want to know exactly how I did this step by step, you can go watch How I Finally Broke My Trauma Bond, where I walk you through the physical distance, the no contact, the me-centered routine, and everything that actually worked for me. So here's what I want to leave you with today. You're not broken, you're not weak, you're not crazy for struggling to leave. Your body and brain have been through trauma, and they're doing exactly what they were designed to do, which is survive. But survival isn't where your story ends. You can rewire your brain. You can break the bond. You can build a life that is peaceful, joyful, and entirely yours. And if you're ready to do that with support, structure, and sisterhood, please join us inside my group coaching community, the Breakthrough Collective. That's where we turn all of this knowledge into action. We build routines and tools and strategies that actually help you break free. You can comment below, I'm ready, to find out when my next round of coaching starts. I'd love to have you with us. If this video has helped you, the best way to support me is to give a thumbs up, save it, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. And of course, if you're not a part of this community yet, hit that subscribe button. We are building a powerful healing space here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm proud of you for showing up. And as always, remember, I'm rooting for you.